If you are in business or plan to be in business, what is your strategy of preeminence? Have you ever heard of that before? I first heard of it through Jay Abraham, who's probably one of 2 or 3 people that has made a profound impact on my life. The strategy of preeminence is this, is that when somebody thinks of a certain service or an industry, they immediately think of you. Have you ever heard the joke, when I looked up XYZ in the dictionary, there was a picture of so-and-so. That's like a joking, kind of a humorous way of talking about the strategy of preeminence. How do you get known as the number one person in your field and get paid accordingly? That was a journey that I was on for the longest time, and then I executed it, and I became it. But let me share a little bit of that with you. In the psychological field, there's a thing called word association. It's where a psychologist, therapist, psychiatrist person says, I'm going to say a word, and then you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind, and they'll ask you they'll give you 100 words, and then based upon your responses, that kind of shapes your psychological profile. You understand that? So in business, here's a good example. Is it better to have your name known in a strategy of preeminence session, or what you do? I say it's what you do. And that's how you establish yourself, how you brand yourself. It goes like this. When you think of George Bruno, what do you think of? When I say the words George Bruno to you, what do you immediately think of? Most people will say beards. Now, how long has it been like that? It's been that way for just a little over a year. Honestly, no more. I was in the hair industry, the beauty field, and I felt it was too broad. So I needed to kind of narrow my focus. And I thought, well, what can help me get my foot in the door? Female stylists who work with females, or stylists, I should say, that work with females, not just female stylists, but stylists that work with females, know if they can get people in for the cut, they can get them in for the color. Or if they can get them in for the color, they can get them in for the cut as well. I knew in the field of men's grooming that if I could win a man over for his beard, I will win him over for his hair as well. One leads to the other, an add-on service. So for me, am I more impressed when someone's answer to what is the first thing you think of when you think of George Bruno? And someone says beards. I'm not as impressed with that or moved by that as I am about this. What's the first thing that you think of? The first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word beards, George Bruno, is people don't Google George Bruno. People Google beards, beard trimming, beard care, beard shaping, beard maintenance. And then beards are in several categories. There's close beards that are lined up, and I am not your lineup guy. Do not come to me for a lineup. I can do it, I don't enjoy it, and I'm sure that it can be done so much better by other barbershops and other people who really enjoy that kind of thing. That is not something I do. I don't color beards, I don't put the dye and do all those curves and points and all that kind of stuff. That's not who I am. I'm the big beard guy. So when people are growing big beards and they need guidance, they come to me. That's the strategy of preeminence. So what happens, and how do I know that? Because I have requests from all over the world. Currently, right now, people come from 15 states and 5 countries to get their beards shaped by me. And most of them will also get a haircut. That's the strategy of preeminence. To the point where people ask me, hey, I can't afford to come to Philadelphia. I live in Australia. I live in Kuwait. Do you know anyone who does beards in Australia? Do you know anyone who does beards in Kuwait, in Lebanon, in Iran, in Canada, in Oregon? Every day. Every single day. As of this morning, I have 3,200 emails and comments that I have to get back to. And man, usually I have a floating number of about 600, it seems like. It used to be 200, now it's 600. Then it was 600, now it's 3,200 as my popularity or as my preeminence scale has grown. When you think of beards, you think of George Bruno, the Sultan of Silver. I like that, but I will tell you this, that did not happen by accident. It's the result of a lot of work. It's the result of literally working 7 days a week and getting the word out there. It's the same thing with artists. When you think of impressionists, who do you think of? You think of Van Gogh. I think of Van Gogh right away. Monet, right away, right? Right away. Because of the visuals. Do not underestimate the power of visuals in your industry, no matter what that industry is. I just got back from the New York Hair Show, IBS. I really liked it. I guess up until this year, I'm just not a big fan anymore. I felt like I was at a big giant flea market. I felt like the exclusivity went down. So for me, the best hair show in the country, for me, is no longer going to be IBS. I'm tired of going to New York in the freezing cold. It's a bad time of year to go. And I don't find them to be very picky or choosy when putting vendors in. And I think, and that's not slamming anyone. I think every business goes through cycles, and IBS is a business. But that's my feelings today. So for me, the number one spot for hair shows is up for grabs. I am thinking, some people said ABS, some people said Premiere. So I'm probably going to be going to Premiere Orlando this year in June. And keeping my fingers crossed that it's going to be a great show and win my heart over as a show that I want to go to year after year. This past show in New York did nothing for me. Did absolutely nothing for me. And I'm sad to say that, because I like New York, and I'm just, that's how I feel today. What is your strategy of preeminence? What is your plan to not just compete, but dominate, as Grant Cardone says? When you're competing, let me put it this way, when you are competing, you're always looking over your shoulder to see who is creeping up on you. And that's a crappy way to run business. That's not a fun way to do work. Now, when you dominate a field, as Grant says, you're number one. No one compares with you. Nobody is in your category at all. And that's how I am in my hair business. I don't have any competition. If I'm not available, I will suggest other people. As you know, I am the referral king. If I can't do something, I will find someone who can. And believe me, I do not say, just go to XYZ barbershop or XYZ salon. Because just any old salon or shop isn't going to do what I can do if you can't wait to be in my chair. So through the strategy of preeminence, what's the first thing you think of? For instance, let me ask this. What's the first thing? Take your business or the business that you might want to be in. What is your strategy of preeminence? What is your strategy of preeminence? J. Abraham will tell you that one of your best methods for creating a strategy of preeminence is some type of strategic alliance or joint venture, which means that you're hooking up with somebody who's either doing something similar or bigger than you, and you can benefit each other. And when you make a pitch for a joint venture or strategic alliance, it has to be a win-win situation. People don't do collaborations and joint ventures just out of the goodness of their heart. They do it when you're in business. Your job when you're in business is to create a profit, nothing else. That's the first thing. And when you make profits, then you can help more people. So I'm not going to demonize money at all, because without money, you can't build a house. Without money, you can't feed your kids. Without money, you can't care for your aging parents and keep them in their home. Without money, you can't give to the needy. Without money, you can't give to missions. Without money, you can't serve people in foreign countries. And a lot of times people will donate money in order to like food and education programs. It takes money to do all that stuff. So none of this, I absolutely 100% reject the whole concept of, well, you're greedy, all you think about is money. You're damn right I do. I don't love money. I need it, and I understand because of money I can do things. And I can do more things. You can do more with money than you can without. You can drive a reliable car where every time you turn the damn key, it's going to start. It takes money to get to that point. It takes money to be safe. So your goal should be to get money. You do it through dominating in your field, not just playing. It's not cooperation. We are losing our edge. When you play sports, you play to win, period. You don't play just to participate. Nobody gives ribbons or trophies for participation in business. When you see best of things in your local newspaper or publications, those best of things, those things do not happen by accident at all. They do not happen by accident. So what I'm going to ask you to do is think about how you will exercise your strategy of preeminence. I will suggest that you do it through joint ventures and strategic alliances with people who are already successful. That's a great way to start your business. That's a great way to change the focus of your business. Jay also says this, not to fall in love with what you do. I'm not in love with the hair industry. I'm not in love with barbering and styling and coloring and trimming beards. I'm in love with my clientele. I call my clientele my guests. I've been doing that for years because you are, in the same way that somebody would be a guest in my home, in the same way that somebody would be a guest in my home, you're a guest in my chair. And I treat you well when you're in my home. I treat you well when you're in my chair. Now, I'm in a situation right now where I'm working where it's really hard to give you peace. I'm working in a damn mall, and it's loud, it's noisy, there's nothing peaceful about it, so please bear with me. And you have bared with me for the past 11 months. For those of you that come to me, you know, if you came to me at the salon before, it was so much more peaceful. And you could actually use it as a time to just take a little break from the outside world. Working in the mall, I can't give anyone a break from the outside world. I just feel like a monkey where I'm at. So I'm working on a situation where I can actually create peace for people. That's how I feel about that. So what can you do? What kind of joint venture can you create with somebody? I know that there are several businesses. People who watch this channel here who I've done some promos for you. I've done some promotional work, some branding work, some endorsement. And the emails that I've gotten have been something like, you increased my business 200%. If it wasn't for you, my business would have failed. And I'm going to be asking for testimonial letters. If I did anything for your business, please write a letter of testimony and also refer to my videos and how I present, because I'm using that to sell myself as well. I'm not selling theory, I'm selling results. So think about the strategy of preeminence and how you can not just compete in the world of ABC, but how can you dominate that world? How can you, wouldn't you want, think about your field, think about your industry, whatever that industry is, fill in the blank. When someone says to someone else, when you think of, your industry, what do you think of? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? You want people to say that your business or you come to their mind. You don't want people to say, who's that? And what's interesting is, if you work in a field that affects other people, for instance, right now I mainly work with men, but when I make a guy real handsome and make him look great, you know who else it affects? His wife, his work, his sales, his just every aspect where his image is important. So I'm affecting a lot of things. It's kind of like the ripple effect. I am not just doing haircuts and trimming beards. I'm changing lives. I'm helping people get jobs. I'm helping people close the sale, because I always say that a well-groomed beard and head is the new clean cut. Clean cut no longer means short haircut and clean shaven. It could be sharp haircut, beautifully sculpted beard, and that will help you get the job, close the sale, get the girl. That's what I like to say. Tell me about your plan or idea for a strategy of preeminence in your life. How can you do that? I'm arriving at work in a damn mall right now, because I work in a damn mall. The parking garage, it seems unusually dark. Well, that's because everything's really bright from the snow. It seems like I'm in a dark room right now. All right, let me just park this bad boy. I'm very impressed with the Sultan XB in the snow. I'm not impressed with how low it is to the ground. Not a good thing. That could be a factor that contributes to me unloading this thing. Anyways, tell me about your strategy of preeminence down here, or what you think. If I can contribute in comments, if I can help you brainstorm a little bit, email me. I might do some coaching on it. If you're interested in coaching, email me, gb@georgebruno.com, and I can do some business coaching with you based upon results that I have, not theories, not hypotheses, but actual results. If I can help you, let me know. It's part of my coaching business, and it could be anywhere from 1 session to 10 sessions over a period of time. Let me know, gb@georgebruno.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, bang the thumbs up button on the video, or forward this video to somebody who you think would appreciate it. Have a great day.